Grenada launches land bank project.
Our main aim is to ensure that the arable land that we have in Grenada is put to good use.
Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the National Report, I'm Leslie Ann Johnson Cornwall. Grenada has taken the first step towards addressing the issues of idle arable land and local food production through the Land Bank project. It's an initiative of the Ministry of Agriculture working with the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO. The project is geared towards ensuring that arable land across the island is put into good use. It will operate as a bank. Interested persons can apply, following which it will be reviewed and approved for a period. Permanent Secretary Mrs. Marina Jessamy declared that the project is in no way aimed at depriving landowners. However, it will ensure that the number of idle plots in Grenada contributes towards reducing the food import bill and increasing local food production.
It is not the intention of the government of Grenada or any government to take people's land and just give it for another purpose, but we look at the general interest. In our discussion in Grenada, we normally hear about idle lands that are not used. Many families, maybe the second and third generation, live abroad most times, or in the UK or USA or somewhere in the Caribbean. But the land is there, 17 acres, 20 acres, 100 of acres, 150 acres and more, and is not being used. What we find is that there are other persons who would like to go and do something in agriculture, an enterprise, but they don't have land. So we feel that this project will bring together persons with land and persons without land, but who would like to invest in agriculture.
Agriculture Minister, the Honourable Yolande Bain Hosford, commended the FAO on its long-standing commitment to Grenada. She highlighted some of the outputs envisaged from the project's implementation.
Contribution to food and nutrition security, while at the same time decrease hunger, food insecurity and malnutrition. Increase and improve the provision of goods and services from agriculture, forestry and fisheries in a sustainable manner. Reduction in rural poverty and improvement in rural employment. Support to the promotion and implementation of policies and programs which seek to address sustainable management of natural resources.
Constitutional Assembly elections in Venezuela on July 30th were peaceful and executed in a transparent manner. That's according to Mr. Chester Humphrey, who traveled to Venezuela as part of the observer mission for the election. Unlike the 1999 Constitutional Assembly, which was done following a referendum, the 2017 election was convened by the presidential decree of Nicolas Maduro. Approximately two-thirds or 364 assembly members were elected by municipal citizens, while members of 7 social sectors, including trade unions, communal councils, indigenous groups, farmers, students, and pensioners, elected the remaining one-third or 181 members.
Together with different groups of observers, there were also other observers from international organizations observing the process. Some 8 million plus persons cast their ballots. We were able to visit various polling stations and various polling booths. We looked at the process. We looked at list of electors. We saw the process. The process was fairly foolproof from what we observed and from what we were able to see.
Mr. Humphrey blames regional and international media for painting a dim picture of the country, one marred by violence and poverty.
The international media has been exceedingly biased in terms of its reporting of what's happening in Venezuela. We saw no malnutrition. We saw no people foraging through garbage cans for food. We witnessed a number of Sunday stalls that were well stocked with fruits and vegetables and things produced in Venezuela. And we saw absolutely no violence, although we heard of an incident in which a contingent of police, because a lot of police were out to maintain order and so on during the electoral process, as would happen in any country, including ours.
The new constitution proposed by the Constituent Assembly will be subject to approval by referendum. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The Children's Carnival Frolic returns to the National Stadium on Saturday, August 5th. And this year, it's no exception to the fun and frolic experienced by our nation's children as they parade in colorful revelry. It's fancy masks, still pen, Calypso show.
I love Carnival. I love my mask.
It's the Children's Carnival Frolic, National Stadium. Starting time 11 a.m. Admission adults $20, children pay 10. More at the door. So don't miss out on this sizzling array of colors. It's Mass, Pan, and Calypso. The Children's Carnival Frolic. Saturday, August 5th. Bring your kids. Bring every child and have a ball.
Father Clyde Martin Harvey, known for his love for the poor and marginalized, was ordained as Grenada's 5th bishop on Saturday. The ordination, which was held at the transformed Spice Basket in Bolio, was attended by government and other officials, members of the diplomatic corps, and archbishops and bishops of the Antilles Episcopal Conference. During the ordination, which lasted just over 3 hours, Bishop Clyde Harvey received the Book of the Gospels as well as a gold ring, signaling that he is now wedded to the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada and to the wider church. The ring, which was designed by Trinidadian artist Gillian Bishop, is engraved with the hummingbird from Trinidad and Tobago, the land of his birth, and the nutmeg from the country in which he will now reside. He also received the mitre, the headdress worn by bishops, a sign of his role as a bishop, as well as the episcopal staff, signaling that he is the shepherd of this flock. When it was all done, he addressed the congregation, urging members to live by the teachings of the Bible, making the necessary adjustments in all aspects of life.
Because holiness and sanctity, in my view, if I'm wrong, tell me, is not about the prayers you say, It is about the extent to which you allow Christ to do his work in you. The extent to which you make those climbs that you have to make both in your personal, spiritual, and social life. That you make those climbs real, no matter how difficult they may be. And that in those climbs you find the living God. And in finding the living God, you dedicate your whole purpose to him.
The Most Reverend Robert Rivas, OP, says the new bishop's motto, Look, Listen, Learn, and Love, describes what he will be at the core of his ministry as he seeks to build the church on loving kindness.
He is coming to build the church in Grenada on loving kindness. Loving kindness of the heart of our God. He will succeed in this only in communion with you. He will need your loving support and collaboration.
The finalists for 2 of the big shows, the Soca Monarch and Calypso, are known after keen and exciting competition on the weekend. Fans crowded Progress Park in the Big Parish St. Andrew on Friday evening for the semi-final of the Soca Monarch and again on Sunday for the Melody Puppeted Calypso semi-final. Details from Trevor Thwaites.
Fans have expressed their delight and appreciation with the high standard of music this year, which they agree have been sweet and driving. Progress Park was certainly alive every Friday evening as artists shook the arena with grandstand performances. In the end, the combination of Little Natty and Thunder caused the biggest stir with their top striker, which scored 341 points. The brothers, Looney Sparks and Electrify, were next only 2 points adrift on 339 with their Natural Disaster. Then there was the veteran Elimas Gilbert the Inspector, who loves a good fight. Uncle is Still Relevant earned him 327 points. Dash and his Aunt's Nest was 4th on 319, with Blaze and his King in the 5th spot on 315. Next was Killer B, followed by Lil Carey, Muddy, Sheldon Douglas, reigning Calypso, King, Scholar, Candle, Squeezehead, and Walkie. The list is completed by Bubber, Hits, Valine, and Cloud 5. 10 advanced from the 20 who faced the judges to challenge King Scholar in the Calypso final Imagra Carnival Sunday evening. Roseman Kelly topped the scores, totaling 480 points, followed in second position by Sheldon Douglas on 456. There was a three-way tie for third, with Sour Serpent, Big J and Baraka recording 452 points. Next was Killer B on 447, followed by Campus 446, Laurelisa 445, Teacher Eddie 440, and Superstar 439. Fans are now eagerly awaiting the upcoming showdowns. I am Trevor Thwaites for the GIS News Roundup.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson, Cornwall.